Hello, welcome. Our international highlight this time will focus on the negotiations on the Iranian nuclear program and also the German diplomatic offensive in Moscow and Kiev in search of solutions to the crisis between Russia and Ukraine. Please follow us. Amid certainties and uncertainties, the threat of atomic bombs remains on the agenda of the debates among the world powers. This is a very critical week, said the U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry during the Iranian nuclear negotiations in Vienna. In fact, it was in the Austrian capital that the last stage of the negotiation round between Iran and the six world powers started, seeking the settlement of the 12-year-old standoff. The two sides have set until Monday, November 24th, as the deadline for a commitment, but agreed on difficulty to reach a deal that gives guarantees that Iran will not develop a nuclear technology with military purposes, and the end of sanctions on Tehran, on the other hand. These conclusions were put forward over the week during a meeting that was considered productive between the Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif and the High Representative of the European External Action, Catherine Ashton. These conclusions were put forward over the week during a meeting that was considered productive between the Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif and the High Representative of the European External Action, Catherine Ashton. However, Iran has announced it will resist the Western pressure to accept what it called excessive demands, an indication of the obstacles still prevailing ahead of the 24th November. Meanwhile, the week also recorded a frantic diplomatic action regarding the Ukrainian crisis. Steinmeier and Lavrov met to discuss the civil war in Ukraine. The foreign ministers of Germany and Russia gathered in Moscow with Ukraine in the center of the talk. Frank-Walter Steinmeier mentioned the Cold War to show that the path of warfare is not a solution. 25 years after the fall of the wall, we are threatened by silence instead of dialogue, compartmentalization instead of exchange, and confrontation instead of cooperation, he told a press conference. Reserved about any real progresses before meeting his German counterpart, Sergei Lavrov stated that the path to a solution could only come from inside Ukraine. To him, the development of a stable dialogue between Kiev on the one hand and Donetsk and Lugansk on the other is now the more important task, especially in the context of the elections in Ukraine and in the part of territory controlled by the representative of Donetsk and Lugansk. But in Kiev, the idea is a different one, has explained the Euronews correspondent Angelina Karyakina. Ukraine is suggesting yet another format of talks, Geneva-like, where, as well as Ukraine and Russia, the EU and the US also participated. The head of the German diplomacy was also in Kiev, where he met with President Petro Poroshenko and with the Prime Minister. On the occasion, the Premier said Russia is not respecting the Minsk agreement. It's always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for watching.